See Ming, a young loser who has not achieved anything after graduating. And that day he was playing with two colleagues and the team manager, but he had been asked to go to buy some things, and as he was taking too long they called him to hurry him. Zhang tells us that he is a one-armed man in shooters, so for his colleagues he is like a donkey. But because he was in such a hurry and distracted, he was going to cross a street without realizing that a truck was coming towards him. However, a strange sphere of lilac rays intervenes and cushions the impact, sending him flying, but getting into it. But when the driver got off the truck, the boy was gone, but calmly. He did not go to a nice guy. Zhang arrived at his colleagues and delivers what they had ordered, but when they see him they make fun of him, because it seems that he was hit by lightning. However, Zhang doesn't remember anything that happened at that time. Then Director Wang tells him to stop wasting time and sit down to join the game. So the Prota joins the game. Boss Wang takes the lead, with the Prota and his colleagues at the rear. Zhang's colleagues kept praising the boss because he had killed 5 players from a pro team. However, Zhang was annoyed because they had him as a pack donkey just because he was able to kill a group easily, praying that now that he was ahead they would mow him down. But looking towards a warehouse, Zhang manages to see an object he had never seen before. But when he raises his voice and asks his colleagues, they scoff at him because there was nothing there, so they go ahead to look for a car. But the protagonist is intrigued by the item and decides to take it, wondering how he can be the only one able to see it or if it is a bug. So he decides to take it. But in doing so, the object fills Zhang with energy, and then a box appears showing that he completed the collection. While in the Prota's squad that had gone ahead, the skinny guy mentions that they should be careful because of a possible ambush, but the boss says there is nothing. But he was still talking when he is shot down. But the skinny guy takes cover, however the fat guy couldn't and is also shot down, so the skinny guy yells at Zhang to throw a smoke grenade. Although the enemy team was the one preparing a grenade, when suddenly a headshot fired by Zhang knocks down the guy who was going to throw the grenade, surprising his teammates, because Giant had never made a decent shot, so the men prepare to eliminate the Prota, but the grenade was active and explodes. And although he didn't eliminate the other 2, he did leave them wounded, so Zhang gets excited because it's so easy. So one of the enemies jumps out of the building to hunt him down when he gave him a chance, but Zhang comes out of cover and shoots another headshot in the air like Splinter Cell. Even his own teammates were surprised by the accuracy he just had. Then the rival player complains to him for not shooting, but Zhang hits him with another headshot, leaving his colleagues shocked. Then a girl in another squad informs one of his teammates that he is no longer the most valuable sniper, and his spectators will not be happy, so the guy says he will meet that player in the finals, but he will have to show who is the real king. The girl tells her squad leader she doesn't think he made it to the finals, but the squad leader Wei Shen tells them not to be confident, because it's the last reduction in the area, and there are only 4 enemies left. So the girl was excited to join the squad, because even though she hasn't killed anyone, many people are following her just to join that squad. The boss manages to spot a firing line and tries to take cover and warn the position of his enemy when a headshot knocks him down. So Y is upset because they hit his position, so the onlookers were shocked at what just happened. So the girl about to cry says that her popularity will go down. The whole Zhang squad keeps a firefight, not letting their enemies out, and the boss Wang laughs, and everyone is confident because Zhang had hit a very important player in the game. So his teammates cheer him and Zhang is excited by the feeling. So the rival team throws smoke grenades to heal the boss, so the Prota squad jumps to eliminate their enemy. But one of the enemy players knocks down the skinny guy and the fat guy goes his rescue when he is knocked down as well. The boss orders Zhang to cover them, but both players who were knocked down are eliminated, leaving only boss Wang. The Prota is surprised by the recoil control that the one who eliminated his teammates had, while boss Wang runs crying for what just happened, but is silently knocked down by Y, who had been reanimated. The girl head marvels at Y's accuracy, and Y mentions that he will make the Prota pay. And the Prota prepares for a 1 vs 4 confrontation with a 98k, and to complete the cake, the last safe zone starts to shrink. Zhang notices that the safe zone shrinks and Y orders that he is not allowed to enter the zone, so one of the players starts shooting at the Prota, but he dodges the bullets without difficulty. Although annoyed that his teammates didn't even give him a smoke grenade to cover himself, but he notices that there is smoke in the zone, so he assumes it is the grenade his teammate had thrown, so he runs to pick up his loot. Then he was going to run when they start to aim at him, but when they were going to shoot him, the Prota shoots a headshot without aiming at one of the players, surprising his enemy. Then Y orders his 2 players to go down after him because he is dangerous. Zhang manages to dodge a shot Y had thrown at him, but arriving at the loot he picks up everything his partner had left him. But in the real world, boss Wang warns the Prota to stop looting and enter the area fast, but Zhang replies to ignore him. Then Wang gets angry and challenges him to tell him again, and yells at the other players who were there. And the guy who was watching the broadcast tells them that the only rival he has left is the famous Y. So the Prota's colleagues are shocked at what they just found out. So Jong asks the skinny guy what he had in his bag, while the girl prepares a Molotov, and Y warns them not to be confident because the Prota is alive. Jong throws a smoke grenade and the players start shooting and the girl throws the Molotov at him, although Y wanted to stop him from doing that because Jong shoots him in the air, and the explosion burns the rival team. Then Y tells them not to move, that Molotovs don't kill, so he advises them to heal. But a grenade suddenly falls, eliminating everyone except for Y. However, Y's life reached a critical point, and a box confirms that his teammates have been eliminated, something that leaves the spectators astonished, and at the same time excited for the 1 versus 1 that is coming. Then the Prota runs with the zone and says that it is too late to make smoke, so he is aware that the one who manages to hit a shot will win, and exclaims to Y that it will be a 1 versus 1 only if he does not hide, while he runs to the center of what is left of the safe zone, adding that when he shows himself he will be able to hit him with a headshot in the blink of an eye, and it is in this way that a combat between snipers begins. Y takes some pills to increase recover life, and wonders if that guy is really willing to fight against him. So he takes his 98k and prepares to accept the challenge, and jumps out of his hiding place, and Giant after signing up wonders if he will be avoiding the conflict. Analyzing the situation, he guesses that he will be waiting for him to shoot, so that Y will have a chance to counterattack, and the spectators are excited to see that none of them change weapons, so they call it a sniper duel. So another spectator mentions that it will be difficult because they can only fight at close range in such a small area, so they understand that the first person to hit the shot will get the victory. Meanwhile, Jong is aiming at Y's head, but when shooting, Y manages to duck, and Y knows that the gun has a reload time of 1.9 seconds. So the spectators started to get excited about the dodge he just scored, and a girl mentions that Y is a real sniper, so she doesn't doubt that he is the one who wins. And Y stops running and prepares to shoot, while thinking that the Prota is very young and missing 0.7 seconds left for Jung to shoot, and when Y was about to shoot, the Prota manages to shoot Y, surprising him, and later a rain of shots hit Y, taking all the spectators by surprise, and Y wonders how it happened. And as he was falling, Jung replies that he never told him that he would have a sniper duel. So Y begins to dissipate and recognizes that Jung was a genius to change his gun for a faster one when he was timing his 98k reload, accepting that he was careless. Then everyone who was watching Jung's fight starts screaming in excitement, scaring the Prota, and Wang starts shaking the Prota, asking if he is aware of the achievement he just made. He just killed a powerful sniper of the best professional players, and the skinny guy starts proudly saying that he is his brother and friend. Then one of those who were there exclaims that those from the rival team are appealing to the platform in case it was a hacker. This left the room in an awkward silence, and the fellows leave the Prota and say that they are just co-workers. But he mentions that he has not cheated, claiming in his mind that the fragment he found in the game should not count as cheating. The other guys frame him for cheating, but at that the result of the appeal appears, and in which he mentions that the player Jong had not committed any infraction, news that surprises the guys. While in the AC's room, they were still protesting, claiming that Jong had not committed any infraction. They were still protesting, claiming that Jong had shot with one hand a precision weapon with propelling a headshot without aiming. So they mentioned that the administrator is blind, so he will keep appealing, as he does not believe that there was no cheating and all that. But Y tells them that if he had cheated, he would not have had a chance to dodge the bullet, so his partner reproaches him because he is defending him. But Y interrupts him and tells him to look for that player, as he wants him to join the act. In a game, the Prota plays an RPG, just got eliminated and lost, and then played again and lost, and with that 10,000 gold coins in his equipment, and then a card game and also lost. So in the real world, Jong exclaims and wonders why he can't win any game, as he thought he was invincible. So depressed and crying, he wonders if his superpower disappeared. Then Jong had an epiphany and gets up excited and discovers that he collected that piece in Jedi, and wonders if perhaps his abilities are valid within the game Jedi Elite. So he decides to enter the game to try, and as he enters he starts to eliminate players, so he gets happy, and he discovers that only in that game he can cheat. But while advancing he gets excited to find a new gem, and while trying to pick it up he wonders what kind of ability he will have, which is 5,000 yuan soft sister coin, so he wonders about its meaning, asking if now he can have money from that game. And he gets excited to see that indeed it is money, and although he does not believe it, this one gets excited and starts exclaiming that he is rich. The next day at the general manager's office, where a man is scolding the Prota's colleagues for being late, so he demands an explanation from them, asking where the three of them went the night before for them to be late that day. Then the fat man mentions that it is not his fault, but Jiang's, because he dragged them to drink the night before and that is why they were late. One of them claims that it is true, that they could not drink anymore, but Jiang did not let them and kept them insistently. The words and excuses seem to convince the boss, but at that moment Jiang arrives with a smile and an envelope. Then his companions, seeing that he arrived, tell the boss to ask him to confirm his version. Then the fat man approaches him from behind and tells Jiang that if he supports them they will invite him to eat at noon and or else he will know the consequences. So the boss asks Jiang if he had dragged his three companions to drink all night. Then Jiang informs the boss that they didn't go drinking, but were playing all night and has no relationship with him. His colleagues are petrified to hear it. Furthermore, Jiang accuses his colleagues of not only coming late, but leaving late, also submitting false reports of their performance and also asking for travel allowances. So he recommends his boss to keep an eye on them and investigate them carefully. In addition to that, Jiang submits a resignation letter to his boss asking him to approve it. Then a girl is excited about her new M4, so she is ready to eat chicken or win a shooter game. Who is also a streamer who has many fans. Then she gets excited and promises to win that game in which she is 1 against 10. The streamer girl jumps out of the plane to a hidden place on the map where she says she will not be bothered by anyone. So she starts to equip herself, but she will stay out of the combat and wait until the final round and then she will attack when everyone is low on life so she can win the game. But suddenly she hears footsteps. So she decides to hide, and her chat takes the opportunity to mock her and say that she is already lost. Then Jiang jumping over the buildings and reaches the house where the girl was, and it is strange to see no one, because he had seen that a light glimpse had fallen from the plane to that place. So Jiang asks inside the house if there was anyone there. So the girl decides to go out and tell the prota not to shoot, claiming that he is unarmed, causing mockery in the chat. But Jiang starts to run down the stairs, scaring the girl, who looked with fright at Jiang, and begins to beg forgiveness to the prota and tells him that if she dies he will go bankrupt. However, Jiang passes her completely without saying anything to her, leaving the girl in stone, and the people in the chat burst to see that the prota didn't do anything to her, and start to throw hate. But Jiang takes a new piece that allows him to change his voice, so he wonders if that ability still exists. Then the excited streamer girl takes her gun and gets ready, considering that he has a group, so she decides to cut the head off. When at that moment a motorcycle roar scares the girl, so she and Jiang take cover, and a gang advances towards the house where they were, because one of them had seen that in the house there were 2 people. So Jiang uses his ability to change the voice to a more attractive one, flirting the girl who has fantasies with Jiang's voice. He tells her that he will solve that situation. So she gets hot and hides, leaving the protagonist confused. Even the girl's chatters fell in love with Jiang's voice. Then Jiang throws a smoke grenade to cover himself, because he doesn't have the 98k. So the team of bandits get excited and prepare to attack. Then the girl gets scared because there were too many people in that secluded place. Then one of the gangsters takes a Molotov to throw it at the prota, but the prota sent a grenade at them, causing the rival players have to run away. So Jiang gets worried, because it was the only decent weapon and it only killed 1 out of 4. Then Jiang prepares for the rival's attack once the Molotov fire is extinguished, so he is aware that it is a complicated situation. But suddenly he saw a crystal in the loot box the guy had left, so he runs to take it, praying that it is a useful skill. The companions of the player Jiang had just eliminated managed to see the prota picking something up, so they think he was looting their friend's stuff. So they start shooting at will. However, Jiang manages to take cover, albeit with a greatly reduced life. The fragment he had collected gave him skills in Shenzhen mastery. Then the guys enter the house claiming that Jiang still has life, so he orders them to shoot them in the head, and they know he is in the small room. But suddenly the fat guy is riddled by the prota who was hiding in the stairs. Then his companions get angry and begin to return Jiang's fire, ordering him to show his face and dare to fight. However, Jiang advances with great speed, dodging the bullets until he causes one of the guys to mow down his partner. So when the guy realizes what just happened, he reacts to see that he had eliminated his partner. Then Jiang takes the opportunity to aim at the head of the guy left. Then a woman enters the house and asks why they cannot kill him, but sees that only the prota was with the boxes of loots. Then the blue-haired girl shoots at Will as she thinks he is a bad guy. However, Jiang doesn't bother to waste bullets, and using a frying pan he hits the girl with a tremendous blow that knocks her down, and he mentions that it is better to use the frying pan than to shoot. So the girl mentions that she recognizes his ID and will never allow him to play online again. Jiang accuses the girl of being a cheater and threatens to sue her, so the girl accepts that she cheats and that she spent millions in order to increase her skills, but mentions that even if that happens, they won't give the side to him. Then the girl mentions that it's kind of easy when there is proof and if her words are against her own words. Plus she was broadcasting the game and her words were heard by 1 million people or so. So the blue-haired girl starts to get upset. But suddenly a box pops up informing her that she will be banned from the game after many reports of using cheating software, and will be permanently banned. And crying she mentions that she was wrong, so she is eliminated and leaves her items, and Jong mentions that it is a talent that 1 million people will hear from her own mouth that she cheated. So Jong asks the girl if she is really a streamer, as she is worried as she can't let someone see her pick up the fragments. Then the streamer chat is happy as she guesses that the spark of love is emerging, as she is blushing. And she very shyly and delicately mentions that she is very famous. There are only 10 survivors left and the zone was already shrinking towards the last zone, downloading the box of one of the bodies he had eliminated. And this one claims that he dared to move in the final zone, mentioning that already in the final zone only the masters wait patiently, while the fools reveal their position. But in that she hears the sound of some motorcycles approaching in a hurry, so she wants to turn to see, and it was the prota together with the streamer on motorcycle, which run over the guy who was chest down eliminating the guy. Then the girl says she will not talk anymore, but tells him to take her to eat chicken. So Jong with a seductive voice tells her that he does not need a woman by his side, and tells her not to trust, that in the end he will eliminate her. However, the girl fantasizes about the voice and drools over Jong's voice, saying that he has a very sexy and dominant voice, which are causing her ears to melt. So the proto worries about the girl, as she is in full swing, so he can't afford to provoke her. Then someone shoots at his rear tire, causing him to have to jump off the bike and takes cover, so the streamer girl freaks out and tells the proto that she will save him. Jong complains to see that because he was avoiding the crazy streamer girl that he hadn't noticed that they were already in the finals. But at that he notices that she had jumped for a straw, taking him by surprise, which he shouted that he was already going, but only caused an explosion, and a girl watching from afar wonders about what just happened and if they weren't on the same team. While Jong is staggering as he is almost eliminated by the explosion. So the streamer girl runs with much joy and enthusiasm, and with a very sweet face telling Jong that he was wounded and she will heal him. However, Jong reacts with much anger, blaming her for his almost death, and tells her that believe or not, he will shoot her. Then the girl starts to cry and tells him that if he has the heart ready to kill her, let him do it then. She mentions that even if he goes bankrupt, she decided to die in his hands, because she will be happy. Then the girl gets tired of the drama and mentions that he will send them to hell. So Jong takes the streamer's hand and pulls her to the bundle of straw, telling her to be careful, and snuggling very close to each other. And Jong says that they are in a very vulnerable position to be a target. However, the streamer girl fantasizes romantically with him, hugging her with affection. And he was telling her that she will be fine with him, and she takes refuge in his arms, so she bursts out of love. So Jong notices a box and tells the streamer to throw a smoke grenade at it so he can loot the box. So the girl proceeds, throwing a smoke grenade, and the girl who was from above wonders with great excitement if he still wants to run, while Jong prays that the box has something that can be of use to him. But from the hill jumps a 4x4 and the streamer informs Jong to run because the enemy is coming towards them. Then the girl angrily exclaims that it won't be safe to hide in the smoke, and she knew the position of the box he was looting, so she can kill him with her eyes closed. Jong then notices the 4x4 heading this way, him feeling the real terror. So the streamer girl steps aside and hears a gunshot. So she wonders why she heard a gunshot if what should have happened is that she had to have heard was the car running him over. And then you see Jong's hand holding a 98K. And then you see that he had shot the one coming in the 4x4, which he pulls out crying and very self-centeredly says that heaven did not forsake him, as fortunately he found a 98K. So the streamer girl jumps with joy and vociferating that he is worthy of the man she likes, also claiming that he is great. So Jong with much mischief turns to see the girl, and with a face that wonders what the fuck that crazy woman just said. But the girl with a tender pose, which I really doubt that it can be done in a game, she tells him that what she means is that he is amazing, and her little heart beat with fear a few moments ago. Then the chat was filled with hate and teasing towards her and her bad way of flirting. However, they hadn't noticed that they were being targeted very easily. And the guy who was franking them recognizes that Jong is like a war god for shooting a player in the head in a moving vehicle with one hand. So he mentions that he will have to kill that guy if he wants to eat chicken. So he starts shooting, and Jong takes shelter behind the car, and on the driver's seat there was the loot box that the girl had left, and on top of it was one of the pieces. So when he sees it, he recognizes that it is a fragment of money, and when he takes it, it results in a third fragment to have 20,000 yuan. So he gets excited because he will be rich when he gets the other 2 fragments. Jong gets into the 4x4 and prepares to look for the others, while the remaining players are left. Then someone tells him to go to the hillside and orders him to hurry. Then Jong reacts with fright when he sees it was the streamer and with much anger asks him when he got into the car. To which the streamer mentions that since they are a team it was obvious that she would be in the car. Then Jong asks her who is a team with her, because as far as she knows that is an illegal team, and orders her to get out. So she starts to push her. I know it is to be more dynamic the story, but I doubt that can be done in a game that is not GTA. The streamer asks what equipment is illegal, because their whole audience is joining in to beat them up, and warns her that if she doesn't get out of the car that one will explode. Then Jong starts in the car and tells her that he will kill her later. Then the girl tells him to just drive and tells him to leave the rest to her. But Jong drives like crazy. And the girl tells the prota to drive steady, but Jong yells at her in response that the car has a blown tire. So the guy who is shooting at them wonders why the car is wobbling so much, but Jong excitedly waves goodbye to his attacker and jumps over him. The player who attacked the prota gets scared to see the car on top of him. Then the scene changes to a foot stepping on a box, and then we see that Jong had eliminated another player. And he mentions that he killed the remaining players and another shard never appeared. So he calls it a day for that round. So the streamer says it was fun taking out everyone in the finale, but Jong responds angrily, saying that he did everything, and that she even missed a shot. Even the streamer's chat had people throwing hate at her because of how shameless she is. Jong then mentions to her that there are only the two of them left and tells her that it's time to decide who the winner is. So the chat is filled with emotion, and no one was giving her encouragement, just saying that it was impossible for her to beat someone with the skill he has. At the same time, the streamer hesitates to even raise the gun. So Jong pulls out a grenade and removes the safety catch, telling her that he plays for enjoyment and doesn't care if she wins or loses. And since she needs the victory, he will let her eat chicken. Then the streamer blushes and the whole chat causes a commotion because of the sacrifice Jong was about to make. But the zone starts to close and the girl streamer comes out of it. So Jong shouts at her that the explosion won't affect him. So he asks her to enter the zone. But the girl with a smile. As the life comes down, he says goodbye, saying that it's okay. He deserves to win and wishes her to eat chicken that night. Such act of courage impressed Jong, who notices that in her box there was a fragment of a different color. So in a hurry he goes to take it, wondering if it will be a new type. But as he does so, a lightning bolt is fired, which grants him the ability Primary Genetic Medicine. In the real world, Jong wonders what this ability is about, and suddenly a vial begins to generate next to him, and taking him by surprise, scares him. But then he is just surprised with what just happened, claiming that it is something impossible. Jong sees the back of the bottle, which brought instructions, which indicate in short would increase their physical conditions. So Jong, without thinking twice, drinks the medicine, hoping to get a surprise. However, this liquid causes tremendous pain in him that made him collapse, leaving him unconscious. Meanwhile, the streamer girl had turned her back to the screen, so her chat seemed worried. But after much speculation, one mentioned that she is in love, and indeed, she was, because she made a movement with her body in reaction to the emotion of being in love. On the other hand, and being already at night, Jong wakes up, for some reason without a shirt. If when he fainted he had one on. But he seems confused as to why he is on the floor. But when trying to get up, his body were heavy and sore, so he destabilizes and crashes into the wall. Upon entering the bathroom, he was amazed at the great change he had had in his body, in addition to the brute strength he had acquired, but decides to confirm something important to him, discovering that just like Spider-Man, he had had a great change. Then he feels someone knocking at the door, and said person calls him with authority, and it was a woman who claims him and asks him what he was doing to take so long. The prota calls her sister Lou and asks her what she is doing there. So the old woman claims him, saying that she can go there since she is the owner of the apartment, and asks her if she is paying only half to live there. So Jong nervously says no, so the woman tells someone who will now stay in the apartment together with him and introduces them. But Jong tries to object since it is made easier for him to earn money, but a girl introduces herself as Wang Xin. Then the landlady asks the prota if he had said he wanted to live alone, but Jong hormones with altered reality perception make him say he said nothing, and the landlady takes Cindy to give him a tour of the apartment. But then we see that the old woman orders Jong to help Cindy with her luggage, and although she out of modesty does not want to accept, Jong persuades her. Meanwhile, the computer screen remained active. Jong was humming while taking a bath, and wonders if the dizziness she feels is a side effect of the medicine she took. When she finishes, she comes out in towels, just covering her private parts, forgetting something important, that is, the girl who had just moved into her apartment, who was staring at her full body, leaving her embarrassed, blushing and speechless. It is at that moment that Jong reacts and tries to cover himself, apologizing for having left the bathroom like that. Embarrassed, he tells her that he had forgotten that he no longer lives alone. So the blushing girl smiles and says that she has no problem, that at least he didn't go out naked. We all know what will happen now, right? and at that moment she drops the towel that covered Jong's private parts. So Zinni saw everything, but it causes him great embarrassment, and at the same time makes her scream in a big way, and Jong, embarrassed, asks her to excuse him. The next morning, Jong was still embarrassed, but he thanked her for inviting him to breakfast, and Zinni told him with annoyance that he could not throw the food away. Jong ducked his head in embarrassment because he wanted to make a good impression, but now he looks like a pervert. But the girl was hallucinating the 8-pack Adamanali that had the prota, so after breakfast he leaves for work, and Jong tells her to let him take care of the cleaning. And as she leaves, he wonders how much he will have to do to solve that misunderstanding. And while washing the dishes, he thinks of a way to generate money, apart from the fragments of the game, which only depends on luck. So he remembers that the streamer fantasized about his voice, so he sends a request for accompaniment to what seems to be the administrators of the game. The girl who is going to attend him makes fun of him because he has a pretty low winning percentage. So her teammates join in the mockery, and tell her to call him and teach him a lesson by letting him know his place. So the girl mocks and tells him that she is a mean girl, and another teammate prompts her to do so and let them hear. Then Jong gets a friend request, so Jong uses her voice faking ability, and leaves the advisors delighted, who tell their friend not to eat alone and let them hear that sultry voice. So the advisor who called the prota tells her to use the voice chat in the game, and with a lame excuse, Jong agrees, and the advisor gives her phone number to Jong, while the red-haired girl who played with the axe in Jong's first game is in the game. And Jong's first game is about to start stream, but she feels tired, and the girl accompanying him asks her if she wants to meet with a certain Chen Dagu. The girl informs streamer Tuenzi that this guy gained a good popularity in recent days, but Tuenzi says he is always criticizing her, and once he proposed to her, and because of the bad rumors she prefers not to join with him. She is also sad because she can't play with friends because they are training for a tournament, so I can't use them to corral her, and it is very hard for her to get